Index funds are known for being passive investments with low fees, hidden costs. That's why you got sold on them, right? But some say their definition is changing. They're not what you think they are anymore. Our all-star financial panel joins me now. Phil Silverman, a managing partner at Kingsview Capital, Marty Laclerc, a principal at Barrack Advisors, and Jordan Goodman, a personal finance expert. Jordan, I'm going to start with you because you said to me in the break, you said, Jerry, Wall Street always screws up a good idea.
They do. Index funds have worked very, very well for many people, very low cost. An S&P index fund might have a 0.09% management fee, so it's very, very low cost. You know what you're getting. You're going to match the market, which most people don't do, so it's a great thing. And now they're coming out with 100 different varieties to try to do actively managed, and it's just a disaster.
What do you say, Marty? I mean, what are they tacking on? Why does it cost me so much more now for some of these funds, not all of them?
Well, because they're trying to add real value.
Real value? Real value? Really?
They're trying is the operative word. But the evidence is overwhelming that some of these have been big mistakes. For example, the iPath shares, the VXX, which came out at $450 4 years ago. It's now less than 20. But yet there's over $1 billion in it because people just mindlessly think, I think the VIX is going to go up. I want volatility, if volatility is going to go up, I'll buy VXX. They don't understand that these are trading vehicles, and oftentimes because of things like contango and backwardization.
Contango, that's the last thing I want my financial advisor to say. Are you kidding me? Contango?
Well, that's why these things have been blowing up, because people don't understand that they're very sophisticated investments. These
right.
Things, yes.
Well, Phil, to you, we've been looking at these for a while, and now, I see that some of these are actually developed to mimic hedge funds. So tell me about that.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous, because the thing is, hedge funds, number one, cover a very wide array of strategies. And typically a great hedge fund is much more dependent on the particular manager of the hedge fund than the sector the hedge fund is in. And it's really just Wall Street's MO is to charge as much fees as they can. And the way to do that is to continually add complication and have new products. You don't make money off of a 0.09% management fee. And so they're just really trying to put a lot of stuff on the plate in the area where everyone's going to. But you really don't want to take those funds.
Marty, what you're saying brings up a good point, Jordan. I want you to answer this. So what should I be paying for my mutual fund, particularly if it's an index fund?
I'd say 0.2 or less. 0.1 is, Vanguard's like 0.1 or less, something like that. If it's just doing the S&P 500, they have very little turnover. Basically, a stock gets thrown out of the index because it gets taken over, and that's about all they have to do. They're rebalancing it all the time, but it's very, very simple for them to do that. A lot of these funds have way bigger management fees, and it seems like a small amount, but over time, it really, really adds up.
Marty, what do you say? Because, it can be complicated. I mean, not only are you trying to make sure that you're covered, right? But also that you've got enough investments in the right kind to have some kind of traction in this marketplace. What do you recommend? Well,
we're not big fans of indexing anyway, because we believe that careful investment selection is better than random diversification.
So you'd rather pay somebody like yourself, perhaps?
I'm sure he would like that.
For advice on what to buy.
Well, personally, as an investor, I'd rather companies that I have bought for thoughtful reasons than just to have own the whole stock market.
Well, Marty, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, do you want to own the whole stock market and then your results should be patterned right what the market is doing, or do you want to take a chance that some manager out there is getting it right? Marty.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Marty?
This is Marty.
Apologies.
That's right, Jerry. Yeah.
Now I'm in trouble. All right, Phil. That's who I was trying to call on.
Okay.
Phil, to you.
Oh, yeah, the thing is, for the individual investor, it is the better way to go, because they're not going to be able to pick the companies to invest in. And this is a way to systematically set up your portfolio so that you rebalance it every so often and keep your fees down and your transaction costs as low as you can. If you're able to find a professional that can make good investments, that can work for you. But very often, between fees and trading costs, it's very hard to beat the market. So most people are better off just trying to minimize their expenses and just systematically invest.
Well, I think we've seen 2 points of view here, both eloquently put. But I want to move you guys on to a topic that's gotten my attention. And this is a suggestion in President Obama's budget that maybe the federal government would be better off levying a tax on people who have big IRAs. Jordan, to you, good idea or bad?
I think it's a bad idea. You're trying to discourage capital investment, basically. What they're talking about doing is if you had over $3 million in your IRA, anything over that amount would become taxable. They're basically saying you can live on about $205,000 a year, assuming you can get a 7% return, which is unrealistic anyway. And somehow anything over $3 million, is tax the rich, you're supposed to be a horrible person. It's just discouraging capital investment. We just already had the raise in capital gains rates on January 1st on those over $400,000, which was already a discouragement for capital investment. This would just be another one. So I don't think it really helps anybody.
Marty.
Well, Jerry, I think, there is room for some reform. For example, some private equity firms put in low basis investments into these pensions and kind of get away with it. But it just seems like they're picking on the wrong people. They're picking on the savers. Already through the Fed's policy of financial repression, 0 interest rates.
Financial repression, I love that.
0 interest rates. Savers are being picked on anyway. And finally, I think it will reduce risk-taking for people who are in their 50s and older, because I personally started my own business because I had a nice 401k plan, and I was able to start my own business 2 years ago and take that risk.
All right, guys, thanks for coming on today. Interesting conversation. Really appreciate your time. Philip, Marty, and Jordan, appreciate your being with us today.